Welcome to today's meeting of the Assembly Committee on Government Affairs for the 2025 legislative session. Will the Secretary please call the roll?
Assembly members Carter,
Present.
DeLong,
Top of the morning.
De Silva,
Here.
Edgeworth, Flanagan, Gallant, Goulding, Gurr, Hunt, Jackson, Karras, Kasama, Nguyen,
Here.
Chair Considine. Vice Chair Witt.
Thank you. Please mark Chair Considine, Assemblymember Gallant, and Assemblymember Jackson present when they arrive. Welcome to the audience in Carson City, those joining by video conference in Las Vegas, and those listening over the internet. Chair Considine is on her way from the airport, so she will take over as she gets here. I would like to begin with some housekeeping measures. First, please silence your electronic devices. If you wish to testify, please sign in at the table by the door and provide a business card to the committee secretary. When testifying, please turn on the microphone and clearly state your name and any affiliation for the record. Turn the microphone off each time you are done speaking. If providing hands out, please ensure that hard copies are available for members of the public. Electronic copies should have been submitted to our committee manager by 9 a.m. on Friday for committee members. We expect courtesy and respect in our interactions during the meeting, even if we disagree with someone else's position. I encourage committee members to ask questions and engage with the material presented. If you have any follow-up questions, please flag them for the chair so we can ensure we balance our time effectively during the meetings. Committee members will be using their laptops to view hands out or other document. Please do not interpret this as a sign of disrespect or inattention. With that, let us get started. Today, we will hear two bills. First, we will hear Assembly Bill 83, which designates Larry Itliong Day as a day of observance in the state, followed by AB 342, which designates the month of March as Women's Veteran History Month. To ensure that we get through everyone fairly and in a timely manner, we will set a 30-minute time limit for each period of support, opposition, and neutral testimony, with each speaker having 2 minutes. To ensure we allow as many people as possible to testify, and I know there's a lot of you in the room, and there's also overflow room over there in 3142. Feel free to say ditto if someone else has already covered your testimony. All right, now I'm going to open the hearing for Assembly Bill 83. To present this measure, we have our esteemed Assembly Member Mosca. Thank you for being here. Please go ahead when you're ready, and please remember, all the speakers, state your name for the record before you begin.
Erica Bosco for the record. Thank you, Chair Witt. Thank you, committee members. I know a lot of people had a hard time getting here this morning, so it's great to see you. This is my last bill in government affairs, so I thank you for your patience. And Captain America's here too. And so for Assembly Bill 83, we're going to go behind the why of this, the impact of designation days. Who is Larry Itliong? If you don't know that answer or had to look it up, that's why we're having this bill. And then we're going to hear from our amazing community and labor impact before we quickly go over the bill. So as you know, we have our support pillars. So this goes under our community support pillar, and we don't see it as a problem. We see it as an opportunity to support the largest AA and HPI population in our state. And October 25th is Larry Itliong's birthday. So we would say that we are excited that we could designate the day. Yeah, thank you. So you might say, what is the impact of designation days? Do they even make a difference? So last session, I had Assembly Bill 82, and we had World Esports Day. And I can tell you that we have been able to organize and have huge events, as you see on this slide, because it gives folks a chance to say, wow, the governor, our legislature really cares so much about these issues that we have a day onto ourselves. And so these are two pictures of pretty huge events over the past 2 years because we were able to designate a day. And now it's Monday morning, so you might enjoy seeing a 4-minute video. So I'm going to show you a 4-minute video so you can hang out and learn about Larry Itliong. And then we'll hear briefly from our two speakers. We'll go over the bill and answer any questions.
What happens when our history finally makes it on the page? There's something missing that our schools just don't say. So maybe it's time that we put our story right where it rightfully belongs. Let's learn some more about our friend Larry Itliong. Larry was an immigrant man. He left the Philippines for the American dream and came here to study law. At least that was his goal, but then reality hit. Couldn't afford the toll, so he became a farm worker, working in Alaska, Washington, and in California. He lost 3 fingers from working so hard. He was called Seven Fingers from that point on. Ha. But before we get into what he did, you gotta learn what a strike in a union is. A union is an organized group of workers, and a strike is when those workers protest their employers. So Larry got the Filipinos in the unions to stand up for fair wages and good working conditions. He started a strike, and I'll tell you why it matters. So let's turn the page to the very first chapter. What happens when our history finally makes it on the page? There's something missing that the schools just don't say. So here we are, telling the story of a man who knew right from wrong. Let's learn some more about our friend Larry Itliong. Modesto was nicknamed Larry by his dad and his mom. He was born in the Philippines in Pangasinan. Since he was little, wanted to go to America. A briefcase, nice suit, and beautiful fedora. He turned 15 and made his dreams come true. He didn't have his dad's permission, but he still went through. Gambled all his savings for a ship that left Manila with only $50. He dreamt of becoming a lawyer. Arrived in Seattle, met the other Filipinos. They all gave up their dreams to survive, so now he knows realities are coming to the country of your dreams. It was definitely harder than it seemed. So he became a farm worker all over the states. He noticed that Filipinos were not getting fairly paid. He joined his fellow farm workers to fight for what was right. Let's fast forward to the Delano grape strike. What happens when this grape strike finally makes it on the page? Larry is missing from the history stage. So maybe it's time that we put his story right where it rightfully belongs. Let's learn about the legacy of Larry Itliong. So when Larry was in Stockton, he learned about AWOC, a union Larry helped recruit for in the Central Valley. He met Dolores Huerta and Cesar Chavez, worked with Mexicans in Delano, also dealing with low wages. Larry's friend Ben said, "We have to go on strike." Larry agreed, but it didn't happen overnight. All of the Filipinos gathered in Filipino Hall. They needed all of their support, not from one, but from all. The legend's true. All Larry had to say was, "I want those in favor to stand up with your hand raised." The crowd is silent. Will they take a stand? After a moment, everybody raised a right hand. This is what they waited for. So with all their might, over 2,000 members were going on strike. Farmers left the fields and the growers were mad. They beat them up, shut the power off. Yo, it was bad. Larry knew they needed solidarity with the Mexicans and Cesar Chavez. Unity. If they worked together, they could win the strike. Cesar Chavez said yes, and for the first time, Mexicans and Filipinos went even further to join 2 unions that united farm workers. They traveled up and down California, telling all the stores to stop carrying grapes from Delano. This lasted 5 years. It was hard, and in 1970, the growers finally gave in to the demands. Justice prevailed, and Larry led the way, and that's why we have Larry Itliong Day.
Yay. And so if that's your first time learning about Larry Itliong, I will say, because I always will be honest, that as the first Filipina, I actually didn't know who Larry Itliong was until I watched this video at the Filipino Film Festival 3 years ago. So we've been working on how we can make sure everybody knows about our important history. And so now I will hand it over to my 2 guest speakers, and make sure you say your name for the record.
Okay. So, good morning, and thank you very much for having us here today. And thank you, Assemblywoman Mosca, for introducing this bill. My name is Gloria Kawili, and I am a proud resident of Nevada. I retired after 33 years of dedicated service to the labor movement with the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees. I am a founding member of the Asian Pacific American Labor Alliance, a constituency group in the AFL-CIO. And additionally, I served on boards of several civil rights organizations, including the Filipino American Civil Rights Advocates. and I'm a proud founding member, founding executive vice president of the National Federation of Filipino American Associations. You know, 3 years ago, I received the Larry Itliong Award in Carson, California. Today, I can't help but reflect on that day and tell you how proud I was to be there and recognize the fact that someone really cared about us. I am here testifying in support of AB 83, requesting and requiring, presenting to the governor to proclaim October 25th as Larry Itliong Day in Nevada. Asian and Pacific Islanders constitute 10% of Nevada's 3 million residents, with eligible voters increasing at twice the rate of the voting population. Filipino Americans, the largest segment, are particularly proud of Larry Itliong. He serves as a symbol of resilience and advocacy for Filipino Americans and Asian and Pacific Americans. Nevada has a proud history as a union and labor state where the rights of workers are respected and upheld. Establishing Larry Itliong Day in Nevada will be a fitting tribute to the legacy and a recognition of the values we hold dear. It would serve as a reminder of the importance of solidarity, justice, and the ongoing struggle for fair labor practices. Establishing Larry Itliong Day is more than a tribute to one individual. It is an acknowledgement of the significance of multicultural solidarity in pursuing social justice. Larry Itliong was a champion not for just one person, but a whole country. When somebody stood up to say, I have a voice, I'm using it, please hear it. By recommending and commemorating his legacy, we honor our past and reconfirm our collective and our commitment to justice and equality. I respectfully urge you to support the passage of AB 83. Thank you.
Hi. Greetings. I'm Erica Watanabe. I am a healthcare worker in Las Vegas. I am a proud member of SCIU Local 1107. Also, I am the chair of SCIU 1107's API caucus, and I'm a proud Army veteran. Today, as we honor Larry Itliong, I'm reminded of something he always taught and reminded us, that organizing is not an act of charity, but an act of justice. When Larry faced racism, exploitation, and brutal working conditions, he organized, built alliances, demanded change. That should be an everyday lesson for all of us and the labor movement. Asian American Pacific Islander workers have always been an integral part of this country, but today we are the fastest growing workforce in every sector, from healthcare to tech, to hospitality and service industries. That's why the future of the labor movement largely depends on these workers' leadership, visibility, and solidarity. So, for the labor movement to build that power and dynamic future, it means understanding and encompassing the full richness of AAPI identities and experiences. It means addressing and organizing around barriers AAPI workers face, from language to immigration justice to fighting against the surge in anti-Asian hate. It means creating leadership pathways for unionized AAPI workers, not just in their workplaces, but in the halls of our union offices. It also means supporting and resourcing AAPI organizations and worker centers, building power within the communities. So let's honor Larry by committing ourselves to finish what he started, to build a labor movement where all workers, regardless of race or background, have dignity, respect, and the power to shape our own futures. And for all of us in this room, that means finding the courage and conviction to build a labor movement that not only represents or organizes AAPI workers, but celebrates our diversity and our strength. So happy Larry Itliong Day to all of us. Thank you.
And thank you to my co-presenters. And finally, go over the goal. So the goal, of course, of the bill is to make sure that our Filipino community have a way to organize, as well as our labor community, to acknowledge the impact that Larry Itliong has had in our country and our state, that has one of the largest Filipino communities in the entire country. And so we hope that the bill just says, we hope October 25th can be proclaimed Larry Itliong Day. And with that, we're happy to take any and all questions. And Erica Moss for the record. Sorry, Chair.
You knew my sign was gonna come, right? It's hard to do that when I'm chairing this, so I don't have my hands up to handle the signs. It's here. All right. Well, with that, any question from members? Oh, okay, great. We're gonna go first to Assemblymember Flanagan.
Good morning, thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. I didn't put my request in first, so that's why I was surprised to come up first. At any rate, thank you for the presentation. I think I saw you in the airport yesterday, so I realized this is where you were coming. And having the observation on October 25th, just want to get on the record or hear what you're hoping that will look like when it does occur across the state.
Erica Moss for the record. That's a great question. I'm going to let our two community champions answer that question.
For the record, my name is Gloria Kawili, and what we expect of the day is really a recognition of a long time effort of one person who spoke up and changed the face of the labor movement. He was bold, he was proud, and it really signifies that any one person in this state, for that matter, or in this country can really speak up and then let their voices be heard. Earlier today, I heard Vice Chair Nguyen say, sometimes our opinions are not of one and the same, but I think we all need to hear everybody's way of expressing themselves and understanding what they're asking for. When you speak up and it's not for you alone, I think it carries much weight. And this proclamation really signifies the hard work that a lot of folks need today to be inspired, that they can be heard and that they have someone to look up to. And that by proclaiming this day, we were heard. We are going to be heard. Today we are heard, and it's a giant step for all of us.
All right, thank you. We'll go next to Assemblymember De Silva.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Assemblymember Mosca, for bringing forward this bill. I just wanted to just ask a question and try to get a better understanding about the context as to how this bill came about. Can you describe, on the record, I think it's an important story to tell, the conversations you had with the community, how this bill came about, what kind of organizing efforts took place to get us to this moment. Thank you.
Erica Moss for the record. Thank you so much, Assemblymember De Silva, for that great question, because I know that that's really what's important to all of us up here is talking to our community, representing what they want. So the Filipino community, I'm very lucky, to be the first Filipino to ever be elected in the state of Nevada, and it's so inspiring because I'm not here because of me, I'm here because of them. All the people that are here, all the people who have been here before me. And so when they said, this is what they want, this is what I then worked on. And so we've had multiple meetings, we've gone to multiple events. Every time we're at an event, I show this video. And what the best part is, I ask people who learned about Larry Itliong. How about today? Who learned about Larry Itliong for the video? Yay! And so that's how we know we're spreading the word. And the fact that I didn't even know who he was till my mid-30s, makes me feel like, gosh, what can we be teaching our young people and our students and just, folks in our community to know that we're not just the nurses, we're not just the J1 teachers, which people think of us as, but we have lots of ways that the Filipino community contributes. And I know we're going to hear a bill as well about Cesar Chavez, and we respect Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta, but I think we always don't get to hear about Larry. And so I think that that's what our community has asked for, and through as well as SEIU 1107, so let them share as well.
Erica Watanabe for the record. So thank you for that question. As, like I said, a proud veteran, as a Japanese American whose family was interned in this country, to not be taught that in school, to not be educated. My grandfather fought in the 442nd. That's weight that I carry every day to carry this on to our members. When our members from the different industries that SEIU covers are held down, are told their voice doesn't matter, To be able to educate somebody on Larry Itliong, that organized, that got together, that uplifts, that's the weight that I carry, and that's what I want to educate our youth on. And that's what SEIU 1107 and our caucuses are all about. So thank you.
Right? All right, thank you. Next, we'll go to Assemblymember Hunt.
Thank you, Chair. Vice Chair, I'm sorry. Chair today. Yeah. You know, thank you so much for this bill. When I saw this, you know me, I'm labor through and through. So, so I got to do my research last week the other day, and it was so amazing. But, you know, you said something very profound. You said it's about what the community want. And I saw several dates. That was monumental. You know what I'm saying? September 8th is like when he first, started, organizing them. Where he led the Filipino farm workers in the Delano grape strike, which was a historic labor movement. And then also October 25th was a great creation too of the union. So I was trying to figure out why how did you guys derive at that date, the 25th, in opposed to the 8th? Because I know in 1959, they didn't have no documentation. Girl, I was looking at, that was so interesting to me. This was huge.
Erica Master for the record. Well, I so appreciate it, Assemblymember Hunt, that you really were looking into it and were just inspired as I was when I learned about it. And so I'd say there is one other state that has Larry Itliong Day. And so we are just doing what they're doing, and they chose this because of the importance of October 25th. Also, October is Filipino American History Month. I just want to make sure before I say it incorrectly on the record, right? So that's really what it is because October is Filipino American History Month. So we feel like it's really important. We can use it as a way to get everyone together.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm Gloria Kawili. And the importance of it, as the Assemblywoman Mosca said, is really because of October being a very important month for us. It's not just about celebrating this, but in Nevada, there is no place in the education system or in the healthcare system and in small businesses where you do not really find a Filipino American who's really working so hard to make ends meet and to be proud to be a Nevadan. This is such a symbol for everybody, and it would just not resonate in the Filipino American community or the Asian Pacific Hawaiian Islander committee, but really in every committee that it will say that we also have a chance to be recognized. We have a chance to really belong, to be part really of this great state.
Please go ahead.
My follow-up is Salamat po.
And mine is walang anuman.
And that was Ms. Gloria Kawili for the record. All right. Is there any other questions from Assemblymember DeLong?
Thank you, Vice Chair. I appreciate the presentation. You had mentioned one other state is recognized October 25th. What is that state?
Erica Mosca for the record. The first Filipino to ever be elected in the state of California is Rob Bonta. He's now the Attorney General of California. So it was his bill when he was an Assembly member. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other question from anyone else, from any of the members? Okay. Well, thank you so much. Thank you all for the presentation. If you could step back, now we're going to hear testimony on the bill. Testimony can be provided in person in Carson City, via video conference in Las Vegas, or over the phone. Further instruction for providing testimony on the bill can be found on the agenda. We be maintaining a 30-minute time limit for the periods of support, opposition, and neutral testimony, with each speaker having 2 minutes. First, we will hear testimony in support of AB 83. So we'll go here first in Carson City. So when you're ready, you may begin. Please tap the microphone on and state your name for the record.
Good morning, Vice Chair Nguyen, and to all assembly members. For the record, my name is Sally Balecha. As the president for the Desert Mountain region of the National Federation of Filipino American Association, short for NAFA, I strongly advocate for the establishment of Larry et Leong Day in Nevada. Larry et Leong's tireless effort in championing labor rights and social justice have left an unforgettable mark on our history. This day will honor his legacy and also inspire our community to continue striving for justice for all. Thank you. Dear members of the committee, my name is Edelweiss Solano, and I am the senior director at the Asian Community Development Council, or ACDC, which I am very honored to be part of. I am in support of Assembly Bill 83. Larry E. Leong's legacy has inspired our movement in advocating for the AANHPI community here in Nevada. I have seen firsthand how his contributions have motivated our community to stand up for what is right. Establishing Larry E. Leong Day would help us educate our community and our families on standing up for what they believe in and to continue his legacy in generations to come. Thank you.
Good morning. For the record, my name is Jacqueline De Hoya. I'm the president of a nonprofit organization called NAFA, the National Federation of Filipino American Association of Nevada. We promote the well-being of Filipino Americans throughout the United States. There are approximately 4 million Filipinos in the United States, 270,000 in Nevada, the largest Asian ethnic group. I'm here today in support of Bill number AB 83. This bill would significantly impact my community. As president of NAFA Nevada, I am honored to support the establishment of Larry E. Leong Day in our state. Larry E. Leong's legacy as a labor leader and advocate of Filipino American rights is an inspiration to us all. Recognizing his contributions through this special day will not only honor his memory, but also educate future generations about the significant roles Filipinos and Filipino Americans have played in our nation's history. Again, my name is Jacqueline De Hoya, and I support Bill number AB 83, and I strongly urge you to please do the same. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you, Ms. De Hoya. Anyone else in Carson City? All right, as you finish testifying, go ahead and make room for others to come up. All right, go ahead and state your name and ready when you, I saw.
Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat, mahal na tagapag-ulo at mga miyembro ng komite. Ako si Caitlin Katchanyan at buong puso akong sumusuporta sa AB 83 upang kilalanin ang Larry E. Leong Day. Good morning to you all, esteemed Vice Chair and committee members. My name is Caitlin Katchanyan, Caitlin Gatchalian, and I'm here in strong support of AB 83 to recognize Larry E. Leong Day. Larry E. Leong is a pioneer, a fearless labor organizer, and a champion for workers' rights. His leadership in the 1965 Delano grape strike was instrumental in securing better wages and working conditions, not just for Filipino farm workers, but for generations of laborers across the country. Yet his contributions and those of thousands of Filipinos who stood alongside him have been largely overlooked in our history books. As a Filipino American working in the political space, I understand how vital it is to see ourselves in the history we learn and the movements we support. When we recognize Larry E. Leong, we affirm the legacy of AAPI leaders who fought for justice before us. We remind future generations that they too can lead, organize, and demand change. By passing AB 83, we ensure that Larry E. Leong's story is not forgotten, and we honor the sacrifices made by those who came before us. This is more than just a day of recognition. It is a reaffirmation of our place in history and our role in shaping the future. I'm happy to support Larry Itliong Day and think of my daughter, that she won't be able to struggle or feel so alone in these spaces the way I did, not knowing her history and having to work so hard to find it. This is for all the young Philams who want to be seen and for our elders and ancestors to continue to be remembered. May we always honor them. Maraming salamat sa inyong lahat. Thank you all very much. Also, Chair of API Dems, ditto.
Thank you. Please go ahead.
Good morning, Committee Chair, Vice Chair, and members. My name is Cynthia Ginto de Riquido. I live in 9872 Velmarie Court, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89141. Complete address. I am a board member of the U.S. Filipino Veterans Group and representing several hundred Field Vets members. I wholeheartedly endorse the establishment of Larry Itliong Day in Nevada under the bill number AB83. Larry Itliong's dedication to justice and equality resonates deeply with the mission to support and advocate for Filipino veterans. This day will serve as a powerful reminder of the enduring impact of his work and the importance of continuing his fight for the rights of all Filipino Americans. Thank you. Salamat po.
Good morning. Thank you for this opportunity. For the record, my name is Ruby Scaglione, a longtime business woman from Las Vegas, Nevada. Today, I stand before you to advocate for a cause that is not only important to me, but also vital for our collective understanding of history, justice, and community. I am here to speak about the significance of recognizing Larry Itliong Day. As a Filipino business owner in Nevada, I am proud to support the initiative to establish Larry Itliong Day. Larry Itliong's leadership and perseverance in the face of adversity are qualities that inspire me in my own entrepreneurial journey. This day will not only celebrate his achievements, but also highlight the contributions of Filipino Americans to our community and economy. By designing Larry Itliong Day, we send a clear message. We recognize and celebrate the contributions of immigrant workers and vital role they play in our economy and society. This day will serve as a reminder of the ongoing fight for workers' rights and importance of advocating for social justice. In closing, recognizing Larry Itliong's Day is not only about honoring a hero of the labor movement, it is about acknowledging the struggles of all workers who seek fairness, dignity, and respect. Thank you so much.
Good morning, Honorable Chair, Vice Chair, and members of the committee. My name is Felipe Dang Lapen, and I live in Assembly District 16 in Senate District 10. I serve as the Executive Director of the Las Vegas Filipino Short Film Festival and a Chief Operating Officer for SEIU Local 1107. I am here today in strong support of AB 83. As already been mentioned during the presentations and other testimony, Larry Itliong was a pioneering force in the American labor movement. However, his contributions have been largely overlooked in our history book. It is time to correct our history and recognize Larry Itliong's immense contributions to the labor movement. By commemorating Larry Itliong Day, we take an important step toward acknowledging the full history of American labor movement and honoring the Filipino workers who helped shape it. In June 2022, we established the Las Vegas Filipino Short Film Festival, and our mission is to bring Filipino stories on the front. At our inaugural festival, we honor Larry Itliong by showcasing a video, the one that you have seen, and sharing his story. What became clear during this event was that many in our community were not aware of who is Larry Itliong. This is precisely why we need to establish Larry Itliong Day, to educate our community and ensure that future generations know and honor his legacy. Establishing Larry Itliong Day in Nevada is more than just a symbolic gesture. It is a testament to our state's dedication to diversity, inclusion, and recognition of individuals who have fought tirelessly for social justice.
Thank you. If you could wrap up your comments.
Yes. In conclusion, I urge you all to pass AB 83.
Thank you very much. We're going to take a break from Carson City right now and go to Las Vegas. So, folks in Las Vegas, if you could fill up the chair if you dare to testify for AB 83, and please begin when you're ready.
Good morning, Vice Chair and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Susie Martinez, and I am here on behalf of 120 unions and over 150,000 members. We are in full support of AB 83. You know, we have certainly come a long way with these labor leaders who have helped us, but unfortunately, here in the state of Nevada, we still need help. Our farm workers are still not being treated the way they should be treated. So I ask my community here that's here with us, our Filipino community, thank you so much for bringing this to our attention. But please stand in solidarity with us. We're still trying to get some legislation passed through this legislative session. But again, I stand in solidarity, sister, with you, and I stand in solidarity with you that we pass this legislation. So thank you. We are in full support. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Please go ahead.
Good morning, Honorable Chair, Vice Chair, and members of the committee. My name is Margie Gonzalez, that's spelled M-A-R-G-I-E, last name Gonzalez, G-O-N-Z-A-L-E-S. I'm the founder and executive producer of the Las Vegas Filipino Short Film Festival, and also currently the Government Relations Director of the Filipino American Media Association of Nevada. I am here in full support of Assembly Bill 83. Larry Itliong's story is an inspiration to our young people everywhere. His determination and leadership show that one person can make a significant difference. Honoring him with a special day would encourage our youth to learn about and follow in his footsteps. I strongly urge for your support and approval of AB 83. Thank you very much for your time.
Good morning, Honorable Chair Constantine and Vice Chair Nguyen and members of the committee. My name is Jenny Evangelista del Rosario, G-E-N-Y-E-V-A-N-G-E-L-I-S-T, Del Rosario, D-E-L-R-O-S-A-R-I-O. I'm the president of the Las Vegas Professionals Lions Club and the zone chair 4B for Nevada, California, Lions District 46. Also a member of several organizations supporting, advocating for our community. I'm here to support Assembly Bill 83 for students to learn about Larry Itliong's role in the labor movements. Is very crucial for understanding the history of workers' rights in America as relevant to our state, the state of Nevada. This day, October 25th, is very important to dedicate to Larry Itliong. It's his date of birth, which is also very significant. A day dedicated to his memory would provide an excellent opportunity for educational programs and discussions in schools. And I, Jenny Del Rosario, again strongly urge for your support of AB 83. And thank you for your time.
Good morning, Honorable Chair, Vice Chair Yan, and members of the committee. My name is Amy Nicholas, and I own my small business here in Las Vegas, Nevada. I do sell real estate here around Clark County. I am also representing the Filipino American Chamber of Commerce, Greater Nevada. I am here in support of Assembly Bill 83. Larry Itliong's advocacy for fair labor practices has benefited not only workers, but businesses by promoting a fair and just working environment. Celebrating Larry Itliong's Day would honor his contributions and inspire our future generations. I strongly urge for your support of AB 83. Thank you for your time. Again, that's Amy Nicholas here in Clark County, Nevada. Thank you.
Good morning, Honorable Chair, Vice Chair Tsui Wen, committee members, and everybody who's present today. My name is Ron Sumbang. I am the current chair of ECHO, Adult Residential Care Providers of Nevada, the biggest organization of care homes. I'm also the president of SILVAC, Society of Ilongos, Las Vegas, Abian Casimanua. I'm also a board member of IAN, Ilocano Association of Nevada, and an officer of ISMISAN, Santa Maria Ilocos Sur Association of Nevada. I'm here in support of Assembly Bill 83. Larry Itliong's efforts to improve working conditions have had a positive impact on the health and well-being of countless workers. Recognizing his contributions with a dedicated day would highlight the importance of safe and fair labor practices. I strongly urge for your support of AB 83. Thank you very much for your time. God bless.
Good morning, Honorable Chair Constantine and Vice Chair Wynn and all of our honorable members of the committee. Happy St. Patrick's Day. My name is Mindy Lloyd, MINDDIELLOYD. I am the chair and co-founder of Bamboo Bridges, which focuses on families that are trafficked and or that are faced with domestic violence. First, I'm so proud to call Nevada my home, and I'm so proud of our communities who have come out in support for this bill. Assembly Bill 83. Larry Itliong was a pioneer in our labor movement, fighting tirelessly for the rights of farm workers. His efforts have had a lasting impact on labor laws and workers' rights. Recognizing his contributions with Larry Itliong Day would be powerful acknowledgement of his work. Thank you so much, and we urge you to please support AB 83. Have a great day.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in Las Vegas? Can we zoom out for a second just to make sure that I got everyone in Las Vegas? Okay, I think we're done there for Las Vegas. Yes, hello. Yes, we see you. All right, we're gonna go to the phone right now, and then if we have time after the phone, we'll head back to Carson City if there's anyone else that would like to testify in support of AB 83. AVH, do we have anyone on the phone wishing to testify in support for AB 83?
To testify in support of Assembly Bill 83, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue.
Good morning. For the record, my name is Joseph Graham, JOSEPH-GRAHAM. I'm the Chief Steward for Communication Workers of America, 9413. I strongly urge the committee to support this bill. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair, members of the committee. For the record, my name is Liz Sorensen. That's L-I-Z, last name S-O-R-E-N-S-O-N. I am the president of the Nevada State AFL-CIO, and I strongly support AB 83, and I urge this committee to do so as well. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, Chair and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Russ James, RUSSJAMES. I am with the Nevada AFL-CIO. I am here in support of AB 83, and I urge the committee to also support AB 83. Thanks.
Good morning. For the record, my name is Adam Mack, M-A-C-K. I'm the Legislative Director for IATSE Local 363. We strongly support this legislation and urge the committee to do the same. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Laura Martin, Laura-Martin. I'm the Executive Director of the Progressive Leadership Alliance in Nevada, and we fully support AB 83. Thank you.
Aloha, good morning, Chair and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Maria Teresa Hank, MARIATERESAHANK, and I'm a union member of TWU Local 556. As a proud Filipina who was born in the Philippines, and as someone who did go to DC to actually help induct Larry into the Labor Hall of Fame, I strongly urge the committee to support AB 83. Thank you, mahalo, and salamat po.
Thank you, Chair. We have no additional callers in support at this time.
All right, thank you, AVH. We're going to head back to Carson City now. We have about 8 minutes left of support testimony. Is there anyone else in Carson City would like to testify in support of AB 83? All right, seeing no one running up to the desk, we'll go ahead and switch over to testimony in opposition of AB 83. We'll go ahead and first in Carson City. Does anyone like to testify in opposition of AB 83? Okay, going to Las Vegas. Don't see anyone going up to the desk. We'll go back to AVH. Does anyone on the line wishing to testify in opposition for AB 83?
Testify in opposition of Assembly Bill 83. Please press star 9 to take your place in the queue.
Good morning, committee. My name is Matthew Winterhawk, Las Vegas resident and Nevadan. WINTERHAWK for the record. I'm opposing AB 83. It Leong had no direct impact on Nevada. His work was in California, not our state. Prioritizes foreign influence over American achievements. We should celebrate Nevadans' own workers and labor history, not foreign activists. Politicizes the history for identity-based pandering. It specifically cites that Filipino-American community growth as a reason to create this day. But Nevada has an entire state month dedicated to that. So state-recognized days should be for all Nevadans, not ethnic group pandering. This is a slippery slope for more foreign recognitions. If this passes, what's next? Days honoring labor unions, foreign political figures, non-American activists? Nevada first, American first, no to AB 83. And as I see everyone with no religion, God, or skin color or race, I would think that it would be wise to move forward as we've seen our country divided by these exact panderings. So I urge lawmakers to reject this unnecessary foreign recognition and say no to AB 83. We are Nevada, not California, and I'm really tired of seeing this move towards making Nevada California. Thank you.
Chair, we have no additional callers in opposition at this time.
Thank you very much. Now we switch to testimony in neutral. Is there anyone in Carson City that would like to come up and testify in neutral for AB 83? Seeing none, we'll go to Las Vegas. Anyone in Las Vegas would like to testify in neutral for AB 83? Seeing none, we'll go back to the phone. AVH, is there anyone on the phone who would like to testify in neutral for AB 83?
Thank you, Chair. The public line is open and working. We have no callers for neutral at this time.
Thank you very much, and we'd like to invite the Assemblymember Mosca back for closing comments.
Erica Mosca for the record. I want to first thank our community that came out, whether it's in Las Vegas, here, or on the phone, and continue to come out, as well as our labor community. We really appreciate you. And you know, it's funny, I was actually thinking about this yesterday. We were one of the folks that were on a flight that got to Reno, but then got turned around with all four of us. And so we drove the, 9 hours when you have two young kids up here yesterday. And it was a great drive because I love Nevada. And when we were in Mineral County, we stopped. Went to McDonald's, of course. You probably know where that is. And I had a long talk with the kids and my husband about the fact that in Mineral County, more than half of their staff are Filipino teachers who are here on the J-1 visa, and they had nobody to teach in Mineral County until they were able to get teachers here. More than half of the teachers. And so when we think of the Filipino contribution, I understand the criticism, so I take that and I get it, but I think a lot about my husband who's in the military, both my grandpas that were in the military, that's the only reason I'm here. And so we think a lot about we have to celebrate all of our community and all of our Nevadans, and there are a lot of Filipino Americans as well as those who are not Filipino, who are part of our labor movement, and just want to make sure that we are celebrating those who have done the work before us. So I thank you so much for considering this. Filipinos have an incredible contribution to our state, and I appreciate you, committee, for hearing this bill and all bills this session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for bringing the bill here to Assembly Committees on Government Affairs. We will now close the hearing on AB 83, and we will take a 1-minute recess. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. I will now open the meeting on Assembly Bill 342, which designates the month of March as Women's Veterans History Month. To present this measure, we're excited to have former Senator Pat Spearman, who will be speaking to us from Las Vegas. If you are ready, if there's anyone here presenting in Carson City, please feel free to move up to the table. But otherwise, we will wait for former Senator Spearman to get started.
I am here. Can you hear me, see me?
We can hear you, but we can't see you. We just want to check with AVH if there's a link in Las Vegas, if you could just hold for a moment. Okay, we can see you now. Please feel free to go ahead when you're ready.
Thank you. Thank you. And good morning, everyone. Today is St. Patrick's Day. And although I didn't have a solid green, I tried my best to get close to green. And I hope you can see this color because I was able to match it all the way. Some people don't see color, but many times when that happens, the socks don't match, shoes don't match. But color is important because I believe what it does is it magnifies and differentiates all of God's diversity in creation. So I just want to say that, and those who don't see color, it's really a shame because the world is a very colorful place. Good morning, Chair and members of the committee. For the record, I'm Pat Spearman. I served as state senator representing Senate District 1 in Clark County for 12 years, from November 2012 to November 2024. I'm also a veteran and served almost 30 years in the military. I'm excited to be back in the legislature this morning to present Assembly Bill 342, which designates the month of March as Women's Veterans History Month. I would like to first provide a little background on this bill. The recommendation came from the Legislative Committee on Senior Citizens, Veterans, and Adults with Special Needs, and I had the honor of serving as chair of that committee this past interim. Of course, veterans are one of the key populations of focus within this committee, and one topic we particularly focused on this interim was women veterans. Various presenters in this area discussed the specific issues and concerns facing women veterans, such as the lack of recognition. A 2023 RAND Health Quarterly publication notes, for example, that women service members tend to face increased scrutiny while serving. But when they transition to civilian life, they become invisible, not recognized as veterans in the same way as their male peers. Furthermore, women service members are often confronted with sexual violence, with the United States Department of Veterans Affairs that said on average 1 in 3 women veterans tell the VA healthcare provider about experiencing sexual harassment or assault while in the military. And although I did not experience sexual assault, I did on several occasions experience sexual harassment. And I was an officer. I came into the military as a second lieutenant, and I was fortunate to retire as a lieutenant colonel. But in each and every one of those ranks, I did experience some sort of sexual harassment. We know that our women veterans face horrors, hardships, and challenges. And as we work to address these systemic issues, it's critical that we recognize our women veterans, their needs, and their immense contributions to this country. This necessity led the interim committee to the recommendation that would become Assembly Bill 342, which I will now briefly summarize. Assembly Bill 342 designates the month of March each year as Women Veterans History Month here in Nevada. It requires the governor to issue an annual proclamation encouraging the observance of Women Veterans History Month. The proclamation must, without limitation, call upon the news media, educators, and appropriate governmental officers to bring women veterans' history and contributions to the attention of Nevada residents. From the Revolutionary War to today, fighter pilots, those in combat, yes, combat, women have proudly served in the U.S. military for over 200 years. In March 21, 2023, since the Al-Qaeda terrorist attacks on September the 11th, more than 300,000 women have been deployed to Iraq. More than 200 have lost their lives in the war on terrorism or received permanent physical, emotional, mental trauma as a result of their service. Many of the service women killed were deployed to in harm's way, and most were killed by improvised explosive devices. And if you will allow me, Madam Chair, I just want to say IED, improvised explosive devices, is a really nice way of saying they were killed by a bomb that exploded very close proximity to their physical location. If you can just imagine taking a tomato, pouring some ketchup on it, and pouring some mayonnaise and doing some other things with it, and then setting it in a plate and then stamping it with your fist, that's what someone looks like when an IED kills them. And I take the time to say that because I need us to understand every woman who has ever served in the military served because we wanted to. None of us were drafted. We served because we wanted to. We went where they told us to go. We did what they told us to do. And many times it was at our own physical peril, not just from enemy forces, but from the enemy within. 23 of the deceased were mothers. One or more of them had children under the age of 18. One female soldier died in the arms of her soldier husband, who was stationed nearby. After her body was shattered by an explosive device she was attempting to disarm. The Service Women's Action Network reported that well over 1,000 women were either maimed, killed, or otherwise disfigured since September the 11th, 2001. In 2017, I had the privilege of meeting Corporal Lena King. Mrs. King was a member of the 688th Postal Battalion, the only all-female unit deployed to Europe during World War II. They were sent there to unclog the mail that had been piled up over a few years. She said there were hangars, airplane hangars that were several of them, and all they could see was just mail. And every time they opened up a door, mail would fall out. And they were sent because when mail doesn't reach those who are overseas, and I don't know how many of you have ever served overseas, but I did. And every time I served overseas, it was the connection, it was mail that was the connection to our families and our friends that really kept us going. And so as Kerry Washington said when she was playing the part of Corporal Adams, Major Adams, she said, no mail, low morale. Whew. Mrs. King was very proud of her service. And and she spoke of what it felt like to be sent overseas. And to be sent overseas not because they thought they could do the job, but they were sent overseas to perform this impossible task because at the time of World War II, our country had not advanced in knowledge enough to understand that everyone is important to the survival and the success of the human race. So they were sent, not because they could do it, but they were sent to prove that Negro members of the Women's Army Corps were substandard. She kept telling me as we sat down and talked, and I had an opportunity to talk with her several times. She kept telling me, she said, you know, Major Adams kept telling us, she said, we would get tired, and she said, they sent us someplace, we had to clean it up. It looked like it had been bombed, and we cleaned it up, and after we cleaned it up, we didn't get a chance to rest. We had to go right to work. We worked 24/7, and some of us worked double shifts because we knew how important the mail was. She said, Major Adams kept saying, this is our mission, and we will not fail. And whenever she said that, she smiled. She smiled. And you know what? She said, but when we came back, nobody said anything. She said, we got off the plane and, you know, it's life as usual for most people. But we always remembered, and we remembered losing a couple of our members of our battalion. And she would say, Senator, you know, it is an honor for me to be telling you this story. And I would say, with all due respect, Corporal King, it's an honor for me to hear your story, because if it were not for you, there would be no me. I was honored to share her 99th birthday celebration. And I remember sitting on the front row with some of the producers of 688, and I see a very tall gentleman walking down the aisle. And he walked right past all of us and walked up to the place where Mrs. King was sitting. And he knelt down on one knee and he said, our country didn't honor you when you all came back, but we're going to honor you by telling your story. I promise you, we will not forget. That gentleman was Tyler Perry. He came back to Las Vegas once the film was completed and watched the finished product with Mrs. King. Unfortunately, Mrs. King passed away 2 weeks before her 100th birthday. If you've seen the 688 movie, that's Mrs. Lena King at the very end, telling the story. She was a Nevadan, a Las Vegas resident. And one of the things that she asked before she passed away was, when the movie comes out, make sure that there's a special showing in my adopted hometown. And that's what they did. Mrs. Lena King, only one of thousands of women who have served honorably in the United States Armed Forces. Today, less than 2% of the population has ever worn a uniform. And of that 2%, less than that have been women. We served. We didn't ask for special treatment. As a matter of fact, we never got it. We served, and our promotions came many times at great consequence to ourselves. This is but a small thing that we can do for women veterans here in Nevada. If we can't do this, I don't know what we can do to honor them. But for God's sake, let's please honor Mrs. Lena King, who was our resident in Las Vegas, Nevada. Let's honor her by passing this bill. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that presentation. Are there any questions from the committee? I'd like to start with Assembly Member De Silva.
Thank you, Chair. And Colonel Spearman, it's always good to see you. You know, when it comes to, I think, somebody who can stand for the epitome of women veteran leadership. You know how you yourself served in the armed services and went on to a distinguished career in public service as a school board president and a state senator, and still with the many civic and community organizations you're involved with. You know, I just want to say thank you, for your commitment and for your service to this nation and to the state and to this community. My question really is focused on, again, on the record, to discuss how and why this bill is important to the notion of visibility, especially with a group as important as women veterans who have been here since the beginning, since the Revolutionary War itself. Can you discuss the notion of visibility and its importance vis-a-vis this bill? Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Assemblyman. Former Senator Pat Spearman, for the record. You know, I always ask people, even before I was in the Senate, I always ask people, I'd say, can you describe a veteran to me? Just close your eyes and tell me what you see. And they'd say, I see a guy in a uniform. I said, stop right there. I said, see, that's the problem. People immediately see the guy in the uniform, but they don't see the women in uniform. In the most recent 3 years, I think it was, there's been a campaign that says, I'm not invisible. When we talk about services and programs for women, do you know it wasn't until 1987, I think it was, that the military even had maternity uniforms. How about that? How about that? And it wasn't until after the Vietnam era that they started assessing us into combat and combat support roles. The career that I had in the military was the Military Police Corps, which is a combat support company. We're the ones that secure the runway, the pathway. We're the ones that secure the perimeter. And so anytime there was something going on, once we were deployed to Cuba, I was a company commander. I wasn't getting ready to leave my unit because I was a woman. Get out of here. I've been training for this. And so it's important to bring this bill and to do this because many times we are invisible. The programs and things that we have for veterans, I look around, not just Nevada, but I look around the country, and housing programs. They're built and they're fabulous, but they're all built for guys. And I've said to people before, women aren't going to come and stay here. They said, why? We've got room. That's not the point. The point is that most women in the military have suffered some type of sexual harassment or assault, and they're not going to be in an environment where they're all men. We need to make sure that we have accommodations for women. When we stop and look at even healthcare, it wasn't until about 15 years ago, as a matter of fact, well, I'll say a little bit after the Iraqi war started, that they started paying attention to the specific healthcare needs of women. And so absent a bill like this, people will continue to close their eyes and describe a veteran as a guy in a uniform. We're not asking for much, just to be recognized.
Thank you. Our next question is from Assemblymember Flanagan.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, former Senator Spearman, who used to be my senator, for bringing this forward. My question is, since March is already Women's History Month, wondering why the request to have veteran women singled out, and why not November when Veterans Day is recognized, to shine an additional spotlight on women maybe during the month of November. So why March when it's already Women's History Month? Do you feel this is needed? Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblywoman Patsy Raymond, for the record. So during our hearings in the interim committee, several women came forward, many of them combat veterans. We could do it in November. You say, well, maybe it's redundant to do it in March. But the point that they made was, yes, we have Women's History Month, but it's important within that to recognize that women served as well. Women served as well. All we're asking for is recognition during Women's History Month. You know, there's some people that say, well, why do we need Black history? Why do we need Latino history? Why do we need any other kind of history? But this is a way for us to recognize the service of women veterans. And, you know, I used to ask people if they would just come and go with me just one day and shadow a woman veteran. Shadow, you know, Assemblyman De Silva, thank you for your service, Purple Heart. I'm sure you served with women. All we're asking for is not redundant. It's a carve out to say, yes, it's Women's History Month, but it's also important to recognize the contributions of women veterans. Because right now, for the most part, we're invisible. And there are some people who don't think that it's important to do that. But we served as well. When I was at the Pentagon, my team was on duty when Tammy Duckworth's chopper was brought down. And we got the information real time. And it would be difficult, I think, for anyone who's never been in combat to understand the trauma and then the disappointment. Trauma because this happened, but disappointment because most people don't even recognize that women didn't have to serve. Our team was on duty when she lost both of her legs. And it wasn't just her. There were other people on the chopper, some of them women on their way home after 18 months of duty in Iraq. So, Assemblywoman and committee members, I don't see this as redundant. I see it as an opportunity to say thank you to our women veterans.
Thank you. Our next question is from Assemblymember Jackson in Las Vegas.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Senator, for your presentation and your awareness for women veterans. My question is, how will this information or facts be collected about women veterans? I know just recently that movie came out, and that's where I learned about the women who worked the postage in the mailroom. So where will this information be gathered to recognize these women and collect these facts?
Thank you, Assemblyman Jackson. This Patrick for the record. So there are several ways that we can get it. The Nevada Department of Veteran Services has gathered a lot of information, and I believe she'll be on the phone a little later. Sergeant Dixie, who served during the Vietnam era as a first sergeant in the Military Police Corps. And then stories of people, stories of women who have served, and putting that on the record. And so history is something that not only is lived, but it's shared. And all we have to do is start talking about it, recording it, writing it down, and ask people, can you remember us? Can you remember us? Look, we're not asking for a parade. We're just simply saying, it's Women's History Month, yay. But can you please also honor during this month women veterans? Because even some women don't honor our service. And I think it's important that everyone honor the service and sacrifice of our women veterans. We are not invisible.
Thank you. And I don't see any additional questions from the committee. So thank you for the presentation. I believe we will move on to support. If you would like to testify in support of Assembly Bill 342, we will start in Carson City. Please step up to the table and begin when you are ready.
Good morning, committee. Again, Erica Watanabe. As I said before, my name is Erica Watanabe. I am proud to stand before you as a veteran of the United States Army. My last duty station was with the 16th MASH out of Fort Riley, Kansas, so I'm a proud veteran of the Big Red One also. I served my country with pride and dedication. Just as generations of women before me have done, often quietly and without recognition. Women have stood on the front lines, piloted aircraft, commanded troops, and served in every capacity imaginable. Yet their contributions have too often been overlooked, their stories untold. That's why I'm here today in support of this bill to establish Women's Veterans History Month. This bill isn't just about honoring the past, it's about educating the present and inspiring the future. Recognizing Women Veterans History Month would provide an opportunity to share the powerful legacies of courage, service, and sacrifice that women veterans represent. It would help shine a light on those who broke barriers, continue to serve our nation with distinction. As a woman in uniform, I often felt invisible, but recognition matters. It validates the hard work, the sacrifices, and the unique challenges women face in military service. Passing this bill would send a clear message that we see our women veterans, we honor them, and we are committed to ensure their contributions as part of our shared history. Thank you for considering this important step forward. I urge you to support this bill, not just for women who serve, but for those who will. Thank you.
Good morning. For the record, my name is Leah Elmquist, Leah-Elmquist. I'm a resident of Assembly District 35. I am a founding board member of the National Association of Asian American Professionals in Las Vegas, and I served in the United States Navy for 10 years. I was boots on the ground in Iraq as a lioness, an early iteration of the military cultural support teams, and in Haditha, and a gunner on a convoy security team. I'm also a survivor of MST, military sexual trauma. As a female veteran, especially as an Asian American woman, I am often overlooked and feel invisible, as Colonel Spearman mentioned. I can't tell you how many times I inquire about a military or veteran discount and am asked, who's my sponsor, where is my sponsor? Because most women, and I feel especially as an Asian woman, I'm assumed to be a dependent of someone. This bill would uniquely recognize our service because we serve too. I support AB 342, and I respectfully urge you to do the same. Thank you.
Chair Considine and committee members, for the record, my name is Andrew Lee Pilbit. I'm the chair for the United Veterans Legislative Council, representing the 250,000 veterans in our state. And when you include their families, the 500,000 Nevadas in our state. And I'd first like to say off a salute to Colonel Spearman. We are here together again, Colonel. And it's a pleasure to see you and hear from you. We have tens of thousands of veterans in the state of Nevada that are women. As the father of 4 daughters, you notice I asked the ladies to go first. I didn't want to get in trouble with those girls at home. And then I realized I'm looking at some of you here over these years, and for 13 years now, we have wanted to have a Women's Veterans Month for 13 years that I've been involved. It's been on the priorities of our veterans for those 13 years. It's in our top list of priorities every session that I've been around. It's time we do that. And it is true our women don't get recognized. Currently, they're somewhere between, depending on the unit in the military and the various branches, there's 16 to 25% of our veterans are women in our active military. 16 to 25%. That's a huge element. I'm sitting here today because some nurse saved me. I was sent to a medevac hospital twice in Vietnam. But I'm sitting here because some nurse was there. We only had 8,000 nurses in 10 years in Vietnam. But some of those nurses worked 3-4 tours when we were going home after 1 tour. And yeah, we only lost 8 nurses in that 10 years. But how many veterans of men and women are still alive because of those nurses? Now, that's one job, and I'm telling you the one job because it affected me directly. But today in our military, the last 25 years, they're driving trucks, they're fixing trucks, they're doing admin, they're doing signal, and they're doing PSYOPs operations. And as Colonel Spearman pointed out, they're also military police. They're a broad section of our military. And we highly endorse this bill and recommend that you all vote for this bill to recognize our women vets. They are in the shadow still. Our public has no idea there are so many women that are keeping our military going. There are so many of them. And so the United Veterans Legislative Council wholly endorses this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. And as a reminder, testimony can be provided in person in Carson City via video conference in Las Vegas and on the phone. And further instructions for providing testimony on the phone can be found on the agenda. Is there anyone else here in Carson City who wishes to speak in support of Assembly Bill 342 here in Carson City? We will move to Las Vegas. If there's anyone wishing to testify in support of Assembly Bill 342 in Las Vegas, please come to the table. Seeing no one, AVH, is there anyone on the line in support of AB 342?
To testify in support of Assembly Bill 342, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue.
Good evening, members of the committee.
My name is Charles Zemp. That's CharlesZemp. I'm a member of the Bricklayers and Allied Craftsworkers Union, and we support Assembly Bill 342. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair and Committee. My name is Lynn Chapman, LYNNCHAPMAN. I'm a 50-year member of the American Legion Auxiliary. And as a caveat, my dad was in World War II and he was stationed in the Philippines. I start by saying I know and have known many women veterans, and I found some interesting information on the internet about women in the U.S. military. According to the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, more than 2 million women veterans live in the U.S. today. In the year 2000, women veterans were just 4% of the veteran population, but by 2040, they are projected to make up 18% of all veterans, making them the fastest growing group of veterans. Navy Captain Rosemary Mariner was one of the first 8 women selected to fly military aircraft in 1973, and a year later became the Navy's first female jet pilot. At her gravesite service in February 2019, 9 female pilots from Naval Air Station Oceana in Virginia performed the missing woman formation for their predecessor, the first all-female crew to do so. Dr. Kamen Samuel was the U.S. Navy's first black female helicopter pilot. And TV star Bea Arthur of the Golden Girls, she was a truck driver in the Marine Corps during World War II. Honoring women who worked hard to achieve their goals in helping to protect and serve their country is a goal that our state can and should achieve by passing AB 342. Thank you.
Good morning. This is former Assemblywoman Clara Thomas. That's CLARATHONAS. And I am in support of AB 342 as a honorably retired United States Air Force veteran, serving 16 years at Nellis Air Force Base as a air traffic controller. It is with honor that the service that I was able to perform for nearly 20 years in the United States Air Force, that this bill would enlighten just about everyone in the state of Nevada, that the service that women, all women, not only Black women, but all women in the military deserves that honor. When we, in November 11th, to be specific, say thank you for your service, it would also be honored in March to say thank you to the women that served not only as air traffic controllers, as nurses, as maintenance, flight line, aircraft pilots. This is an honor for the state of Nevada to recognize the women that served alongside their male counterpart. And with honor, I can say that I served. And it is a pleasure to support this bill. I thank you so much.
If you recently joined the call and would like to testify in support of Assembly Bill 342, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. Caller, you are unmuted. Please go ahead. Caller again, with the last three digits, 431, you are unmuted. Please go ahead. Chair, it seems that we are having issues with this caller.
Yeah, can we go to another caller and then come back?
Chair, this is our last caller, and they did hang up, so we have no additional callers for support.
Thank you. We will now move to testimony in opposition of AB 342. Is there anyone here in Carson City wishing to testify in opposition to Assembly Bill 342? Seeing no one, is there anyone in Las Vegas? I don't have a visual for Las Vegas. If there is anyone in Las Vegas wishing to testify in opposition? I don't see anyone. If there's anyone at the table to testify in opposition, please go ahead. Hearing no one. AVH, is there anyone on the line in opposition of Assembly Bill 342?
To testify in opposition of Assembly Bill 342, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue.
Name is Matthew Winterhawk. Good morning. WINTERHAWK for the record. As a fellow Nevadan, fellow American, son, nephew, grandson to many different gendered military officials, I oppose AB 342, which mandates Women's Veterans History Month in Nevada. While we have honor and respect for all veterans, this bill is another unnecessary identity-based designation that does nothing to actually support veterans. It's purely symbolic with no funding or actual benefits for women veterans. Nevada already recognizes veterans through multiple state and national observances. This forces political messaging without providing any real support to women veterans. Instead, we should focus on better VA health assistance. Real veteran support comes through action, not through proclamation. We are urging all lawmakers in honor of all veterans in this battle-born Nevada state to reject AB 342 with the utmost expression in disgust. Separate whom the men and women are in our armed forces. Thank you.
Chair, we have no additional callers in opposition at this time.
Thank you. We will now move on to testimony in neutral. Is there anyone here in Carson City who wishes to testify in neutral on Assembly Bill 342? Seeing no one. Is there anyone in Las Vegas wishing to testify in neutral on AB 342? Seeing no one at the table. AVH, is there anyone online for neutral testimony on AB 342?
Thank you, Chair. The public line is open and working. We have no callers for neutral at this time.
Thank you. I would like to invite the presenter back up for some brief final comments.
Thank you, Chair. I want to say thank you for this opportunity to present the bill. And when we heard from veterans, men and women, they felt, as I do, it was important to make sure that we honor and acknowledge women. I'm a life member of the VFW. I remember a few years ago, former Senator Woodhouse and I presented a bill to make sure that there was funding for victims of MST, military sexual trauma, in Veterans Court. Why did we have to present a bill to make sure that there was money there? Because there was nothing there for women veterans who were suffering MST. Yes, we are battle-born, but you know what? Women veterans didn't talk about it. We be about it. We had an opportunity to sit back and criticize, but we chose to serve. You know, at one point in time, you know, people used to say, well, I don't know why women would want to serve. We want to serve because we love our country. We love our country. Nevada was the first state after 40 years to ratify the Equal Rights Amendment. We got it started in 2017. I looked and I didn't see another state who had honored women veterans. Nevada ought to lead the way again. We ought to lead the way again. I'm the daughter of military veterans, but I'm also a military veteran because I was not afraid to serve. I didn't want to ride in on my father's coattails. I wasn't afraid to serve. Battle-born, yes. Battle-born ready. Battle-born tough. Thank you.
Thank you. I will now close the hearing on Assembly Bill 342, and our final item on the agenda is public comment. As a reminder, members of the public can provide public comment in person or telephonically and may submit public comment up to 24 hours after the meeting. Instructions for providing public comment can be found on the agenda. If you'd like to provide public comment telephonically, dial 888-475-4499. When prompted to provide the meeting ID, enter 893-9734-7812, and then press pound when prompted for participant ID. Each person will have 2 minutes to provide testimony, and please remember to clearly state and spell your name for the record. Is there anyone here in Carson City who would like to provide public comment today? Seeing no one, we will go to Las Vegas. Is there anyone in Las Vegas wishing to provide public comment? Seeing no one approach the table, AVH, is there anyone on the line wishing to provide public comment today?
To provide public comment, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue.
Matthew Winterhawk, once again, WINTERHAWK, for the record, Las Vegas resident. I would like to mention that over the past 2 weeks of public comment, I can definitely see that there is something afoot pushing us to be further and or closer to California and the Californian policies that have divided, distracted, and destroyed that state. As every bill comes across, whether it's a Senate bill or Assembly bill, I am more and more in fear that we have been taken over by legislation and leadership from California, and that the bills that are going through right now mimic the exact legislation that is responsible for destroying an entire state, one of the largest states in our union. And I'd really like Nevada not to continue this path of destruction. And that is my public comment for today.
Thank you, Chair. We have no additional callers in public comment.
Thank you. Our next meeting will be Tuesday, March 18th at 8 a.m. in room 4100. That concludes our meeting today. The meeting is adjourned.